There'll be some things that we need to go over in detail. There are other things we won't need to go over in detail. So I don't want to spend a ton of time going over stuff that you guys don't need to hear. You know what I mean? So like, we don't have to spend 15 minutes talking about ace formation if everybody's familiar with it. So if you can give me the go ahead or anything like that. But gonna kind of do this a little bit more informal. Kind of gonna go old school with the board and things, because I want you guys to really be able to ask questions, and I tried to figure out a way I could do it to where we could do the signals and things like that, because I know that's really the reason a lot of you guys are here. The way we actually run the offense is a little different than how we teach it. You know, when you're talking to coaches, it's a little different than when you're talking to players and things of that nature. Can everybody see the board okay? Can y'all see that? Is it too far away, or is everybody good?
Looks good.
Okay, cool. My screen's a little different than y'all's because I've got the screen up to where I can see everybody's face. The one thing that I want you guys to really get out of this is for you to be able to get the nuances, and I'm coming in and out because I'm just letting people in the room. So we'll get started because we should be just about full. All right. So what I wanted to do was just kind of jump in and just go 2 feet into how we teach this offense with our quarterbacks, with guys, and you know, I've got 3 guys in my quarterback room right now. None of them have been in the offense. I worked with one of them last year for about a month, and then then I wasn't on the staff anymore, so we really didn't get into a whole lot. So he has a little bit of information, but the rest of them, they're starting from scratch. And so it's really, really important that you kind of give them a good foundation and try not to be in a hurry. So kind of what we're looking at today is we're going to start with our intro, then we'll get into our formations, our movements, our tags, our pass pro, and our running game. And then tomorrow we will get into the actual route concepts of quick game, and drop back, and then some of the little different nuances and things that I like to do with that. But like I said, it's a full day. You guys have questions, just, hey, chime in and things like that, and then we'll go from there. So without further ado, man, let's just get started. I really appreciate you guys. I tried to figure out a way to kind of raise money for these goalposts, and I was like, hey, let's do a seminar. I got the idea from Coach Randy Jackson down in Texas. He did one down there. And he ended up having to do 2. But I thought it would be pretty cool to do this and then take half the money and donate it to the school. I would have donated it all, but then if I did that, they would think I have to donate money all the time. I need them to raise money too, so you guys know how that works. But intro-wise, I've been running the Air Raid. You guys follow me on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. I've been running the Air Raid full-time since 2011. And, I went all over the country. I've done Tony Franklin. I've done the Mummy stuff. I've done the other college stuff, spent a little time with Lincoln Riley. And no, guys, this will not be recorded, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. I'll give you all the handouts and things like this, but, we're talking about my actual offense and the calls and checks and things like that, and I'm not going to have that out on the internet. You guys have seen Twitter this weekend, what the internet can be like. And so I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to record it. I'm not putting it on CoachTube. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But as far as the playbook pieces, the little call sheets and all that stuff, you'll have, and I'm also going to give you guys a free copy of the courses that are on CoachTube too, which pretty much goes through a lot of the stuff that we're talking about outside of the signals and things like that. So you should have everything that you need to be able to really move forward and jump into this. And the one thing that I would tell you, man, is talk to as many people as you can about it. But let me caution you with this piece, okay? This piece right here is the one thing that I think some people, this is where people make the biggest mistake. Bruce Lee said he would rather fight a guy that knows one kick or that's fought, 10,000 kicks he's only practiced once versus a guy who only knows one kick he's practiced 10,000 times. And so basically what that means is this. The air raid is basically this.
Are you on?
This is on the field house. This is in the field house everywhere I'm at. And this is kind of what we live by, this mantra of details make champions. You have to fight the urge to change stuff all the time. I can't tell you how many guys call me and ask me questions and say, hey, coach, can I do this and 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 this? And I say to them, why? Okay? There's no need to get fancy. Being simple is fine. Mike Leach doesn't do anything different than when they were at Iowa Wesleyan. One of the most successful guys in the country.
I'm afraid this.
So fight the urge to want to act, okay? And so, like I said, it's really, really important as we move forward that you understand simple is better, okay? Simple is better. And when we get to talking, you're going to be like, it's really that simple? Yes, it's really that simple. You can look on the sheet, and I sent this to everybody, and I shared this to everybody in the email. You should have gotten this. This is the little form. It's in the Google Drive. You can take a look at it. I think I gave it to you where you could update it if you'd like. But you literally look at our formations, and we run ace, blue, early, late, cowboy, which is something I created. I'll talk to you about that. Then we have our 20 personnel stuff, and then empty, and that's it. We don't get super complicated with it because we want to play with pace, and multiple formations are the enemy of pace. It just really is. So you kind of have to ask yourself, do you want to play super fast or do you want to be super complicated? You can do that, but I just, I would rather focus and practice on tempo than putting in 18 different formations. And so, we always start off with our ace formation, and for us, that's just one finger. Okay, so Mummy calls it open, but when I learned it, I call it ace. When I talk to Mummy people, when I talk to people on the internet, I try to use Mummy terms so everybody can kind of understand. But with our guys, this is ace. And so what happens is, as soon as the ball is placed, we're doing this. Ace, ace, ace. And the quarterback is just yelling ace, 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 ace. So everybody knows to line up like that. X is always on the left, and then Z is always on the right. Z is a flanker for us. We always put Y on the ball. And I get this question a lot. Why do you do that? Because I want a tight end type body guy. Okay? And my favorite play in the air raid, believe it or not, even though it's 92 mesh group, is stick. Okay? It's the most reliable play. It's a good first down play for us. But with him being on the ball, it really helps. Okay? When I first learned the air raid, we played him off the ball, and this guy was on. But, that's just kind of how we do it. Okay, so that's kind of our 2x2 set. H and R are interchangeable. Okay? Understand that in your mind. And as you start teaching this to your players, understand that H and R are interchangeable. So what we always tell them is that if we go early, and the guy who gets there early makes the money, so that's the signal for early. It's just money up. Okay, and that's on the sheet, but we just go money up. What that does is it puts H in between Y and Z. Okay? Conversely, if we go the other way, money down, so we just drop our money down, then it's late. And what that does is it puts X off the ball, Y and H. And then Z comes on the ball. Now, as a default, I know somebody's going to ask this question. As a default, when we're in 3x1, the back is away from the trips. Now, I do not signal where to put the back. Some people do. Some people call Ace, Rip, Liz, just to tell the back where to go. I don't do that, okay? Because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to remember where he is, and so I just always tell the quarterback, make me right. Okay, and you'll see when we get in the running game how easy that is. All right, so that's just our 3x1. Now there's another way to get into 3x1, and that's our flip call. And what flip does, flip tells Z, go to the other side. So that right there is ace flip, okay? And flip is just like flip a quarter, okay? So it's pretty easy. And that's pretty universal. If you watch if you watch Mike Leach or Oklahoma, you'll see those guys, you'll see them flipping their quarters. A lot of this stuff is universal. That's universal. Blue signal, the signal for blue is universal. Pretty much everybody I know uses the same thing. Now, the other thing I will tell you, don't worry about the signals so much as far as people knowing what you're doing, okay? Because they still got to stop it, and you'll worry yourself to death. Most of the stuff that we call things, we let the kids come up with, okay? We let the kids come up with that, and it just works that way. So that's flip. Flip puts Z to the other side, and that's kind of on our tag thing. Now, remember I said H and R are interchangeable. So because of that, and generally speaking, in our offense, H is going to be our number 2 tailback. Because I'm a big jet sweep guy. I love jet sweep. I love power read if we got a good running quarterback. I decided at the beginning of the year if I'm going to put power read on based on what kind of quarterback I have. Okay, this year I got 2 kind of really athletic, tall guys, not the best of foot. And one kid is he's an all-state catcher, so he's not going to run, and I don't want him to get knocked around because his daddy will kill me. So with him, we're probably not going to be a big power read team, okay? So if we were a power read team, this guy being a tailback makes it even better, but H and R are the same. So I don't really worry about blue and green and brown and red and all this other stuff. You can play with it if you want, but like I said, that's just blue, no big deal, okay? If I want to put Z in a slot, how do we do that? Blue what? Flip. So blue flip takes Z, puts him over there. No big deal. Everybody with me so far? Like I said, you can just, if you have a question or something, man, just go ahead and unmute yourself, ask the question, and we'll go from there. The video the other day, I didn't run a lot of pistol until I went to the college. And then when I went to Lane, the head coach up there was a big pistol guy. And the reason why he was a pistol guy is at the college level. And when things happen at the college level, what does it always do? It trickles down to us at the high school level, is people were setting the strength based on where the back was aligned. And so if you had a back on the right, they would set the strength away from it, put the 3 technique away from it, and all this other stuff. And so they just started playing a lot of pistol. And then obviously Clemson and all those guys are doing a lot of this stuff with sniffers. And we play with where H is, okay, based on what we're doing. This is halo, or H to the left. The signal for halo is angel wings, bird. So all we do is we just go. Do I worry about right or left? No. We're just yelling because X always goes to the left, Z always goes to the right. If I want to go twins left, I just go halo flip. Okay? Just like the video that we had the other day on the channel where we were talking about the halo package with Carolina running that wide to left. Okay? So that's just halo. Now, we can have him up here. I don't really say like halo close or anything like that. They just know based on the run, game plan week to week, where that guy goes, okay? So H puts him here, and conversely on the other side, we flex on him and just go hero, okay? Pretty simple. Then we have our cowboy package. Funny story about cowboy. Cowboy was invented because my quarterback had a bruised bicep. And I didn't know if we would be able to run the football. I got that right. So what we did is we kind of came up with this. Here it is. It's been a long time since I ran this part. We're going to run a lot of it this year. But we came up with this diamond backfield deal, okay? And what we were doing was faking jet sweep coming across and running our darts and our counters and stuff like that. Well, then we started getting real cute with it, and we started doing things like cowboy flip. And what we did is we started going unbalanced. Is we put the Z where the Y was, R always stayed the same, and then Y, and then H was covered up, so he was a dead receiver. But then what would happen is everybody kind of just like overplayed it. And like the first play of the game, we did this, faked it here, and ran a reverse back this way with him on the lead, and he went like 70 yards. It was pretty cool. The other part of that, if we want to go the other way with the movement, is slide. So that's kind of our goal line package. In the past, not this year, but in the past, we've also done kind of like two tights. We bring in another tight end, and we'll go what we call hammer. And then, basically it's just two tight ends, two backs. We'll run quarterback lead and do some different things out of our dart package, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. The last little piece is our empty. And basically all we're doing is empty is we're lining up an ace and putting an R in the slot, okay? And the reason why we do that, and empty for us, the signal is just salt shaker, like empty the shaker. The reason why we do that is the only person I want to do something different is R. And generally speaking, he's running an arrow or something like that, but everybody else is in their regular alignment and so on and so forth. I think that's just about it for formations. Anybody have any questions about basic formations? Alignments. Y is told to align 4 yards from the tackle. Okay, we try to get him 4 yards from the tackle. But one of the things that I teach the quarterbacks, and I want them to understand, is the quarterbacks have to understand this concept of performance alignment. And what performance alignment means is putting guys where they can do their job. So if we're running mesh, do I want to be on the top of the numbers with X and he's the mesher? No. What do I want him to do? I want him to squeeze down and be able to get to where he needs to go. So performance alignment is really, really important. Now, as far as our movements are concerned, now guys, this is probably where I think you can get creative and not hurt yourself. Okay? You not hurt yourself. And it's a good way to segue into how we signal our people. So we're just real simple. That's X, that's H, that's Y, like the hang loose, and we just actually draw Z, and then we call the running back R. And a lot of courses we say F, because Coach Mummy uses F in talking. So I like it for people when they go to a room, when they talk, they can talk and people understand them. But we call them R, and that's just, we use razor, like a shade, okay? So if I wanted to bring H in motion across, we would just go ace, H, move. Done. So we're just going to walk our fingers and we'll signal who we want to walk. Okay. If I wanted a motion to ace flip, we would go ace, Z move, and go right there. No big deal. Okay. Now, I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot on the channel. This is one of my favorite packages. Okay, one of my favorite packages. That for us is jet. Now, we're not really going to worry about jet too much because the play call tells the quarterback who to send. So I don't really have to go H jet per se, but we can do it if we want to be actually. So if we want to run stick out of that. All right, so that would be blue jet 64. Done. Okay, and that's just how we run it. And so, but that's our jet motion. And then we also have orbit. And orbit is just like that. Okay, so it would be H orbit, Z orbit. And depending on the formation. So you can get creative. In the past, when I worked with the wing T guys, we actually were doing this. We would go early, H in, pin that guy, and run buck sweep. because no matter what we were doing in the passing game, the head coach wanted to run buck sweep. So we were actually coming in and pinning that outside linebacker. But you got to be careful because I had a dude who was a little bit of an ass, and he liked to knock the mess out of that guy. So we got a couple of penalties. But you can put in short motions, long motions, anything like that. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Let's jump into our tag game. All right, our tag game, pretty simple. Now, I have limited the number of tags that I'm using because, like I said, I'm teaching you today just like I'm teaching my quarterbacks. This is what they're learning, the exact same thing. Because, you know, there's people who throw like now screens, you know, open book, you know, right now, all kind of different stuff. So what we do is our best one is wheel. We wheel a lot, pretty easy. 92 wheel. We do wheel. We do fox. And fox is off of the screen, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then we do our post is actually like a little hand slash. Okay, that's all it is. It's like a little hand slash. Out is our ear hole. So like if we wanted to, if we were running verts, we were running four verts, and X had a guy that was playing inside shade and the quarterback wanted him to run out, he would just look at him and go. And he really didn't have to signal him. A lot of times he'd just look at him and tap his ear hole. And that tells him he's running it out. Stop is our stop hand. Hitch is putting our hand like a fist. Let me put this down just a little bit so you guys can see it. It's putting our fist like right behind our back just so they can see like a little trailer hitch. Corner, like we want to run a corner route. We just the tip of our elbow. And then go is just, so, you know, if we had, let's say we had, you know, shallow post and the guy was inside on the hash and we want him to just go ahead and run a peek, you know, you just give him a little spin hand. Cougar, and we'll talk about cougar when we get into mesh, is just the claw. No biggie on that. Now, here's the two things that we're going to talk about. The next two are let me go to the last one. If I want to tag a shallow, let's say we have verts going on, and I want to tag a shallow, we just point to the corner of our eye. Okay? Judging somebody based on their looks makes you shallow, so we just use our eye. Okay? But the other concept is kind of what we're going to do a little different this year, and I haven't even talked about it on the channel, and I don't know that I will talk about it on the channel, to be honest. But, you know, I love running the Joker route on the backside. You guys know that. That inside sit and that 5-yard in, especially against press coverage. Well, Coach, what if we don't get press coverage? You know, what if that guy's still kind of creeping in the box there in a 4-2-5 and he's backed off? You're kind of setting yourself up for a little bit. Yeah, kind of are. So this year, we're going to check slot fade on the backside as well. So we're going to bounce the ball. Okay, bounce the ball. So if that guy's backed up and the quarterback likes that hitch, and let's say they're backed up and this guy is kind of in here, we're gonna check slot fade on the backside of quick game. Okay, so we'll bounce the ball on that. So if it doesn't matter, you know, what we're doing on the front side, you guys know I don't like to mirror. The only thing I mirror is slant. But we're going to bounce the ball on that and tag that for our quarterback. If they're like that and they're backed off and he still wants to do it, this is our Joker thing, you know, ha, 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 tell the Joker. We just laugh our belly. And then, like I said, that's shallow. So all that's kind of pretty easy stuff. You can do your own signals. But I get questions about signals all the time. And it's stressful. It's very stressful because you spend more time. It's kind of like those kids who are doing a presentation for your class and they spend half the class designing a slide and then they got 10 minutes left and there ain't nothing on the slide because they're worried about what it looks like. Kind of the same deal on that. So is everybody good on tag signals, formations, and movements? Anybody have any questions about that? Like where people line up, where they don't line up? Do I need to go over like inside foot back and all that good stuff, or are we good on that?
All good.
Good.
All right, great. Like I said, most of you guys, when I saw most of these names, most of you guys have been to a lot of our stuff. So I knew this wasn't going to be a rookie session, which is that's why I didn't want to come in here and dumb it way down for you. I mean, but I want to make sure everybody who's in here kind of gets what they need. And then, like I said, I'm going to give you a free copy of the courses if you don't already have them, just for that. All right. So let's do a quick pass pro thing, and just so everybody's kind of on the same page. There's a lot of stuff on the internet right now about pass pro, especially Shane did a great pass pro clinic. I know some of you guys were in there for that. That one was pretty good. I tell you who's really doing some good work right now is Lauren Inslee. I had him on the channel a couple weeks ago. His videos are really good, man. He's putting a lot of work in. He's got a little time right now, but as soon as the season starts up, he's going to be in trouble because he's coaching at a D1 school now. But I'm the type of dude, man, I don't change stuff unless I just have to. And so if you hear Shane talk, Shane will tell you right now that they don't really do 2 steps and 4 steps, but we do, okay? And we're vertical. We're going to vertical set, but we're just going to number people. 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we go by the old rules. Centers have zeros, guards have 1s, tackles have 2s, backs and quarterbacks have 3s. And then all we do is we get one call. And here's where it's different. You can have the quarterback tell him where he's at, or you can have the running back tell him where he's at. Okay? Either way. And you can do that a couple of different ways. You can do it in how you call your protections. But we just go ram, ram, ram. Now, the one thing I will tell you, have your running backs do it all the time. Ram, ram, ram. Just so they know that they're yelling ram and everybody knows it's a pass. Okay, you don't want to do that. So I have my running backs say where they are every time unless they're in the pistol. But even if they're in the pistol, they're going to say ram if they're working to the right. If they're working to the right, that means they got this guy. This guy's got him. He's here. He's here. He's here. He's here. Quarterback's throwing hot off backside. Okay. Now, if you're getting a lot of heat, what can you do with him? You got a right-handed quarterback, send him to the left. But I just rather the quarterback take his backside personally for himself, to be honest. Because if you're trusting that running back to go get that backside guy, you're not paying attention to him, and he gets beat, what's going to happen? You're going to get blindsided and not expect it. And what happens when you get blindsided and you don't expect it? The ball is where? It's on the ground. Okay? So if he knows that he's hot on the left, okay, either by route or by protection, then he knows right now that I might get hit, so I'm going to take extra credit for this ball, and I'm also going to get the ball back on time. So we do 2 steps, 4 steps. Now, how do we call our pass game? We use shoes and basketball players. I know it's funny. So we do things like Nike, Nike. That just tells the line is quick. Now, let me start with this because I kind of got a little ahead of myself. How do we call a play? All right, so we see the quarterback. All right, let's say we're gonna call Y stick out of blue with jet motion. Okay, so we're gonna go blue, 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 blue. All right, he's yelling blue, blue, blue. Now, one thing that we do is the first play of every drive we call from the sideline. We huddle up on the sideline, we call the play, they run out there, get set, and we snap the football. Okay, this is kind of how we do it. But we go blue, 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 blue. Everybody's lining up in blue, and then everybody's looking at the quarterback. The only person who wears a wristband is the quarterback, and he just has some plays on it. It's not even like wristband 2 or anything like that. It's just like if we have a special play as birdie, or down in distance or something like that, we'll do that. But everybody's looking at him. All right. So if we got blue jet, 64 call. All right. 60 to our chest. 4 is the route, which is stick right. All right. What happens is he looks up and he's going to give 2 calls. Now, we decide pre-series if we're going first number or second number. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's say we're going second number. All right. He looks over. He's going right here. He shows both sides to play. All right. And he's going, Apple, Nike, Apple, Nike. Okay. Apple's a code word for our zone play. Nike is quick pass. What's the play to the offensive line?
Nike.
Yeah, Nike, which is quick pass. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know if it's corner. They don't need to know if it's stick, slant, whatever. Okay? But it's that simple. So he just goes, Apple, Nike, Apple, Nike. And he just sends the back. The back takes off, claps, go. And that's it. And he just claps and he hesitates. He can say go whenever he wants to go. And it's really that simple. All right? So if we go back and we want to run zone, let's say we're going to do the same thing. Blue, 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 blue. All right? He's looking to the side. He's going to give everybody the zone signal. He's going to go here, here. Everybody knows the zone. One hand is right, two hands is left. That's how we signal it from the sideline. All right? So basically, all he's doing is just doing like that. That's all. Once the receivers see that, they don't care. All right? They're going to run their bubble screen or doing whatever they're doing, okay? And then everybody up front, he looks at them and he says, I don't know, Tuesday, Tuesday, Apple, Apple, Tuesday, Apple. All right? Days of the week are 90 game. He sends them in motion. Go. Inside zone. All right, so we just use two different words. Now, you can use numbers if you want. I've done it in the past where we had, 24, 25 was dart. We'd go 24, 69, 24, 69. Ready, go. We've done it like that. Okay? We've also done it in the past where we use directionals. So we'd say, let's say Atlanta was zone, and we'd go Atlanta red, which meant Atlanta to the right, or Atlanta blue to the left. So, but what we do in our offense is we use code words. So if you look at the sheet, like you see, our inside zone is Atlanta and Charlotte. Atlanta's to the right. Atlanta's to the left, Charlotte's to the right. Okay. So if we were doing quick game, we would say, if we wanted to run Charlotte and it was first word indicator, we would say Charlotte, Adidas, clap, go. All right. And all you have to know, and you can change it from series to series. Hey, we're going one, we're going two, either one. All right. So that's really, really important that you just do that. And then you can play with it as much as you want. Let the kids come up with the names of your plays if you want to. That's how we did it. Now, how do we freeze call it? Freeze is very important in the area. I would not suggest you try to go on two. Okay? I would not suggest you try to go on two. What I would do is go up and freeze. And so in order for that to not happen, we use sodas. Or for some of you guys up north, pop. All right? We say Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, and it doesn't matter if it's first word or second word. Okay? Those words are never used unless it's freeze. Okay? Is everybody clear on that? So I don't want him to go, Atlanta Sprite. No. Okay? If he does that and the call was zone, we're in trouble because somebody's going to do what? They're going to freeze. All right? So we always use, doesn't matter. If they hear Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, any kind of soda, pop, whatever you want to use, root beer, Dr. Pepper, they know don't move. Okay? They will not move. And so that's really, really important. How do you signal freeze? Right here. Okay? And freeze is really important. When's the best time to use freeze? You just got a big play, bang, running down the field, getting ready to get on the line. Any three, boom. Get on the line, everybody freezes, and we go. Anthony, the reason why we do that is because we have a two-word choice. Okay, I don't want to his question was, why are we calling a pass play and a run play at the same time? You don't really have to call a pass play and a run play. You just have to designate which one is which. So if I'm calling play one, like if it's first call indicator, I can go Charlotte, Oregon. I just have two calls so that the defense doesn't know because in the second quarter they'll realize every time you say Atlanta is what, it's inside zone. So I mean, we try to be simple, but we don't want to be like super simple. Now, as far as our 90 game is going, like mesh and things like that, any day of the week. And so any day of the week puts us on 4-step pass pro instead of 2-step pass pro. So Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Puma, any sneaker, any basketball player is 2-step. Because any more than 2 steps is a travel. Okay? Anything Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, any day of the week is 4-step, which is 5-step passing game or 3-step drop passing game, any of our 90 stuff. So if I'm running shallow, the call to the line could be Tuesday. And, a lot of guys use Monday, Tuesday as like going on 1, going on 2, and things like that. So it was just kind of a fun way to us to have people there sitting up there guessing, and all of a sudden they hear Friday. Now, do I signal in Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? No. That's the quarterback, okay? And so that's when you got to be with your quarterback. You got to give him this sheet. And this has got to be like his Bible, his Bible. He's got to know. You got to say, hey, walking down the hall, you see him, hey, man, signal in counter. Signal in zone, whatever it is, okay? And you work on that. And just remember, one hand is right, 2 hands is left, all right? And that's very, very important, all right? So once again, we have, basically 2 types of pass pro, nickel even. Most of you guys have seen this. If the center is uncovered, he basically works away from the back. Does anybody see 4-man front anymore? I swear I don't.
Yes. All the time.
In kind of a 14 shell
95%
stuff?
of the time.
Say how much?
I think only one team went with an odd front against us last year.
Yeah. I see a lot of 3-man fronts right now down here. But obviously it's still the same concept. Okay. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's no big deal on how that works. It works the same in stack. It works the same, whatever. As long as they're all on the same page.
Hey, Coach, quick question for you.
Yeah.
When you're signaling in your pass game and you signal in, let's say we're doing like 92, is your quarterback echoing the number as well, or is he just using the signal? So you signal it in and then he's signaling and then
I'm glad you asked that question. I was going to get to that in just a second. But here's how it happens. All right, so if I want to run mesh, as soon as the ball is placed, I'm yelling the formation. Okay, so I don't really worry about and what I tell the guys, if you don't get a formation call for me, line up in ace. They know the lineup in ace pretty much base-wise unless we're giving them something different. So I give them 92. 90s are the head, 2 to the head. And how we number stuff is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we turn 3 upside down for 9. Okay. And you guys have been doing this a long time. There's been times where I just went out there and yelled 67, 67, just depending on what kind of move we're in at the game. But so what happens is once the quarterback gets that from me, he's going to look to the right first, 92. He's going to send it over there. Then he looks to the left, 92. That's why it's important. The receivers are doing what? Looking at the quarterback. Okay. And then if there's a tag, let's say it's 92 wheel, he'll go 92, 92. And he'll tell the H wheel and he'll tell R wheel. And then he's in it. He's Atlanta Tuesday. Go. That's it. So, everybody looks in. I've played with this so much, guys. Like I said, when I first learned it, we were on the Tony Franklin wristbands. Okay, we had the Tony Franklin wristbands. And let me tell you how specific we were. We had positional wristbands. Like there was a wristband for H's, for X's, for Y's, for Z's. And if they had the wrong wristband on, we were screwed because the wristband actually said, like, if it was 95, the Y's wristband said cross, but the Z's wristband said post dig. So it actually told them what to do. So when we first got started, that's how we were. Then,
That's what I did this year.
It's tough if you got a small staff or you don't have guys who are organized, or if you got guys who play different positions. Okay, and like if you got a DB who your number one corner is your backup Z and your backup X. And somebody goes down, and you got to throw him out there. You got to give him a wristband, and you got to make sure you got the right wristbands. So you have to be really organized to run it like that. Then what we did is we went to wristbands, but instead of telling each person what to do, it told them the concept, and we made the entire team learn the concept. So year 2, the entire team learned the concept. Okay, so it was mesh. All right, Z knew, okay, well, I got corner. Y was like, I got mesh. X is like, I got mesh. H is like, I got, flat. R. They knew what to do because we taught them the same way we taught the quarterbacks. High swing, front side, back side, shoot. High swing, front side, back side, shoot. The entire offense knew that. Okay, so that's kind of why we did. Then every time I would go to a clinic, I got to the point where I knew the offense, and I didn't want to hear somebody teach me how to run shallow anymore. I wanted to learn how to play faster and be more efficient. And so I'll never forget this. I was at Carolina watching them practice, and they had the Williams kid and Mitch Trubisky was there. Okay, and I was watching them practice and just paying attention. And they were signaling everything into practice. And Gunther Brewer was there, and he's at Louisville now. But Gunther was there, and I asked him, I said, how do y'all do that? And that's where I got the two-hand thing. At Carolina at the time with Larry Fedora, 2 hands was left, 1 hand was right. Okay? But he said, Coach, we're not that good. He said, we got so many guys that, like you said, you can't do positional ones. And so what they did is everybody was focused on that quarterback. And so we got away from the wristbands, and really the reason why we got away from the wristbands, I couldn't afford them. I was the athletic director too, and we were really low on money, and them things kept getting tore up and everything else. And I wasn't at a school where the kid, y'all know the kids, they show up, they got the Under Armour forearm pads and all that stuff. Their parents went out and spent $200 for them to come try out for football. I don't have kids like that. I got kids who go to the cleat box and are happy when they look the same. So we just couldn't afford to do that. So we had to come up with another way. And that was a way for me to save money. So we focus in on the quarterback. He signals 92, 92, 92. Then he gives the directionals or whatever, ready, snap. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I think our head coach, we're actually going to go to the wristband and we're going to do like 20 plays on there. So we'll have like a blue 5 will mean something, yellow 4.
I tell you who has a great wristband is Joe Salad. Email him. I'm sure he'll send you a copy. It's his wristband is phenomenal. What his has a color and then 2 names like Trojan and Spartan. So you can go green, Trojan, or Spartan, and then there'll be like 7 plays in that column. And so Trojan, Spartan, and green 7 were all the same play. And all you had to do was that didn't work for me because I'm colorblind. But as long as your quarterback ain't colorblind, you can just signal in green 7. Okay. And so you had the same way of calling the same play 3 times. But yeah, hit him up and see. I'm sure he's got something he could send you because that. Like I said, I hired Joe. He was my offensive coordinator my first year. And then he left me and went and got a job somewhere, which we knew that was going to happen. But that's my guy. Then I hung 63 points on him the first game. His first game was against me, and I hung 63 points on him. But I won't pick at him too much. But he was doing a rebuild. Joe is a master rebuilder, man. If any of you guys are rebuilding the program, talk to him. I'm telling you, he is elite, phenomenal when it comes to building programs. He goes to places and wins that you're not supposed to win, and it's just crazy. So, like I said, the wristband thing. And you know, it used to be top secret, and I'm afraid now because all this stuff that's going on with Twitter. But you know, if somebody posts a Tony Franklin wristband, you know, on Twitter, don't worry about getting sued because I think everybody's got those now. But those things are floating around like crazy. And Tony's wristband system is really nice. You know, I had a chance to pick up one of those a few years ago. It's on a jump drive somewhere, but you know, you put your master play sheet in and it creates all the wristbands for you and things like that. But one thing I will caution you to do when it comes to wristbands, dude, don't try to change it every week. Okay. It makes it really, really complicated. If you keep simple with the offense and concentrate on details make champions and do the little things, then you know, the wristbands are really easy if every week Blue 2 is 95, okay? Then you don't have to worry about it.
That's how we're going to do it, and we're going to have different colors and stuff so we can try to just disguise it from the defenses a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Joe's system, I will tell you how, Anthony, I'll get to you in just a second. I'll tell you exactly how, the reason why I wanted to learn the area. Joe was at a school and I was at a school, and we used to throw 7-on-7. And then we both needed a scrimmage. And so I didn't know Joe that well, but I knew him, knew of him, but didn't know him that well. So he came over to the school and we scrimmaged. And you know how it is in the scrimmage, man. The head coach, you're going to stand behind the defense when you're on defense and just watch how guys are flowing and do this kind of stuff. And he kept calling his offense. And I was trying to figure it out myself, like what's coming. And I never could. And so, I mean, I was like, it became a game to me, like, yo, what's coming now? What's coming out? And I could never understand it. And then when I saw his wristband and saw that it had the name on the top, the name on the bottom, and then the one column was the color, I mean, that's 21 ways. You know, that's 21 different ways to say a play in one column. You know, because you got 3 ways to say 7 plays. So that's 21 different plays right there, but it's all the same thing. And so if you got 3 ways to call one play, and then what he would do is when he labeled his, he would go play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 14, and then he would start over again. So like if he only had 14 plays he wanted to put, there'd be 28 on the wristband. Like I said, man, email him. I'm sure he has something he'd be willing to share with you guys.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. He's already sent me some huddle film so I could start putting clips in our playbook.
Yeah, like I said, man, and I'll tell you guys, as soon as I start getting some more huddle film, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. And if you have the Team Extreme package, I'm gonna have some stuff up on there too, because I'll never be without that Team Extreme again. I mean, I'm sick. I mean, I'm talking about we scored over 600 points in a season, and I have no clips of that. Because when I went to the college level, I didn't even think about it because I didn't think huddle was going to limit the amount of space you could have. And then the guy who replaced me, both of the cats who replaced me at Red Springs were assistants of mine. So I didn't think that they would delete up everything. So as soon as I get some more of that stuff, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. All right, so is everybody cool on Pass Pro, how we call pass plays, and how we just kind of communicate what that – the other thing that we do.
I do have a quick question for you,
Sure.
George.
Yeah.
So if you are doing, like you said, your back is on the right and he's yelling Ram, if you're doing play action, would he yell to the other side to the left if he's going across because he would be picking up that backer?
Not really. He probably should. I could lie to you and say, yeah, but no. Because if we're play actioning, we're probably running 95 anyway. And we just, that's a hole in the system, so to speak.
So no matter what, he's saying specifically with you, he's telling him what side he is on.
Yeah, he's just telling everybody where he's at. Because for us, we take both hands and we just bang our hips. If I can stand a little taller. We just bang our hips like that. That means action. So we'll go ace, action, 95. And then really all he's doing on action is he's just gonna fake him right here, and he's gonna step up in front of him and really still block who he normally gets. We're not asking him to come all the way across. If we're doing that, then we've got some kind of split flow going on where H is taking his guy and ours. You know what I'm saying? But
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's most of our play action stuff is not ball fakes. It's flash fakes. And,
Right.
you know, and I will tell you, I learned that from Leach. Leach was really cool about it. Because before I heard Leach speak, I never had the back cross the quarterback's face on shallow. I almost always do it now, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's just one of those things where you look at it, and you just got to understand, man, don't make it complicated. It doesn't have to be. Anthony, it's just 60 because it's 60, man. I can't really tell you, you know, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody asks me, what does 92 mean? And I'm like, I mean, it's like Walter. You know, it's just a name. You know, that's just what they called the play. You know, 90 was the protection, and it was the two concept, two route. So that's how they came up with 92. I mean, it's really that simple. Joseph, like as far as slide protection is concerned, it's a zone protection that becomes a man protection. I mean, there's no sense in really getting it complicated, because if you think about it, like we know that this is the guy right here. Number 2 in the box is gonna be him. Now, if he's way out, we may call it over here, but in general, when these guys take their steps, and we're not always like going straight back. Now, if we got a wide 5, we're gonna kick him. You know, we're gonna kick him. But if you think about it, if he goes here and this guy comes here and he comes there and that guy drops, as he comes, if his 0 drops, he's looking for work. So now what does it become? Turn back from the first uncovered. I mean, it's old school. I mean, we used to block like that in college. You know, we would call him Mike, and we would double read here. We just keep it really, really simple. And what ends up happening is after we retreat, everybody shows us what they're doing, and we just pick up who comes. So it's a zone protection that becomes a man protection. We do slide a little bit, and we call that rodeo and lasso. And basically the code word for that is Ford or Chevy. And all we're doing on that is we're front side reaching, and everybody else is post hinging, okay? My favorite thing to do with this, because I don't do it a lot, but is to run like Ford 94. It's like run 94 out. So if he's like that, let's say we're getting that 4-3-5 look, they're going to reach. He's going to reach his front side, turn back, reach his front side, turn back, and he's going to try to help set the edge. And then we're going to half roll and attack the line of scrimmage. So we will roll the quarterback a little bit. I love doing this out of trips. When I go early, then you get that full flood. Now I will tell you, in early, we take the back and put him on the same side of the trips if we go rodeo lasso. Okay, or rolling the trips is really good. It kind of gives you that old school flood route. And so that's kind of how that works. Yeah. Coach, I can't hear you. Try. Can anybody else hear Anthony? Because I couldn't hear him. Yeah, it's like you're in a fishbowl, man. You're kind of a long way away. Oh, you talking about like 617, 619, stuff like that? That's just the original West Coast offense name of the play. I like everything to be consistent, and so that's why we changed the name of some things. So like for us, That's how we number our quick game. So hitch is 60, 61. So hitch to the right is just 60. We just punch our chest, bang. 61 is hitch to the left. So you could call it like Drew still calls it 617, 619, all that other stuff. But look, man, I deal with kids who need, and I don't want to use the term dumb down, but I want them to understand what's going on. Don't make it complicated just because you're trying to look good at a coach's clinic. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people want to go in there, they want to talk all the lingo and stuff, but we just call it 61, 62, 63 is flat. So 63 would be flat left, 64 would be stick, 65 stick left, 66, 67 is slant. And so all that does is remember I said that's the only play that we do that mirrors. The reason why we have two numbers is 66 says I want you to read to the right first or read to the left first. So like if we're on the left hash, we'll probably call 67 because I want him to go single. It'll be slant, shoot, and that way you're throwing the shoot to the wide side of the field instead of into the boundary. And then 68, 69. So that's kind of it. I mean, like I said, I'm the type of person I want to be able to walk into a room and talk to people and people understand me. You know, like when I first started looking at, like I went and started buying books and stuff, and you know, like Rich Hargett's books and things like that, because he was one of the only guys putting stuff out a long time ago. Is Rich's stuff. You know, they had changed the names to things like you know, they had like Phoenix and Montana and all this other stuff, and I didn't understand it because I was having to. It's like, I guess the best way to put it is like being in like a language immersion elementary school. Like somebody's teaching you in a different language, you have to translate it into your language, and then you have to suck it up. And for me, that was a little difficult. So, so we're good on that. All right, let me grab a bottle of water real quick, and then we'll jump into the next phase. How much run game do you guys want to talk about? Because I'm gonna teach you the run game that we use. I mean, and obviously on every one of these plays, we can talk for days and days and days and days and days. But basically, our run game is inside zone. Draw, dart, counter, and then outside zone or jet. All right, and we just call it outside zone. We really don't run outside zone. We run jet. Okay, but we block it outside zone. I am not complicated when it comes to blocking the run game. Okay, and you got to understand this. That is no different than this. Okay? A lot of guys get into this and they're like, yo, what do you do out of two backs? What do you do out of this? What do you do out of that? Just remember, +1 equals +1. If you bring somebody in the backfield, what are they going to do to the box? They're going to bring somebody into the box. And so what we do.
Start with your R real quick. Just where's your R in terms of alignment behind? Is he aligned slightly left or right?
If we're in hero halo, he's either in the pistol or very slightly offset.
Okay.
I like to have his toes on the quarterback's heels, usually about inside of the tackle. Okay, depending on a lot of things. Remember what I talked about at the very beginning?
Yeah. In your one back stuff?
Alignment, some guys. I mean, and listen, the old rule on zone is slow to, fast through. I mean, how many of you guys ever heard that? When I first learned zone, that's how I learned it. Because, you know, you get that guy, he's going to run it, and he's up in there before everything kind of does it. So we tell our guys, slow to, fast through. But as far as zone is concerned, it really is just covered or uncovered. I don't get to, you know, the guy that was there before me, Kevin, he liked to do point. And, you know, he would call a mic and, you know, and make it really, really complicated. Look, man, we're going to step with our right foot or we're going to step with our left foot. And my job is just to cover up colors. I don't care if you get a lot of movement, just don't get blowed up and stay as square as possible. And so what we tell him, and I get this question all the time, like, what about that 4-eye tight? A 4-eye to us is a 3. Okay, a 4-eye is a 3. So we're going to take this and we're going to zone to our right foot, and then our right tackle here, because this guy is displaced, he's going to step with his left foot. It's going to be almost like duo. Okay, we're going to double team that, but they're going to work to this guy. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, just like pass pro. 1, 2, 1, 2. They're just going to work together. All right, same thing here. He's going to zone to the right. If that guy goes with him, he stays. He's going to zone to the right. He's going to climb to 1. He's going to zone to the right, turn and cut off. And a lot of times we try to, we'll even high wall that guy because of our RPO game. Now, what do we tell him on Atlanta? This is Atlanta, Charlotte. His deal is to go to the butt of the center. We want him to go right down the crack of his butt. All right? And then we tell him it's probably going to break backside based on the alignment. So we teach him to kind of look up here and say, all right, if that's a 3 technique, it's probably going to go this way. All right, so he won't be quite as wide. You know, he'll probably be outside leg of the guard if I had to really be. We tell him inside leg of the tackle so we can get outside leg of the guard. But he's going to come in here, bang, and hit it hard up in there just like that. And that's kind of our inside zone. We literally just step with our play side foot, unless we're the pin guy on the outside. If this guy was up here like this, then you know, we're probably checking out of that. Okay, because we do box count.
Is there a read on that?
Say what?
Is there a read on that then for the quarterback? Are you zone reading that, or you?
We do have RPOs. Every one of our plays have an RPO in it. So it's like this. All of our inside zone stuff, if we're running Atlanta right here, they're gonna run Joker. Okay, and so he'll read this guy. So we're stepping in. If he flies down hard, then we can throw it, just depending on the box numbers. We do not make it complicated. If we're running away, if we're running this way, like we play, if we're running that way, then we can do this as well. Just depending on what the game week is. I'm not a big RPO guy, man, to be honest. I think the quick game is much more. I'm not going to say effective, but I think it's a much more sound. Like, it's a lot easier for me to teach a quarterback how to read quick game and make the right decisions than to get him to do the right, RPO type thing. No, I don't, Anthony, because he asked if I have a question about having guys do zone and gap. And here's the thing about that. This is why you stick to the 3-day install. Okay, we don't run zone and counter on the same day. Okay, we just don't, because I want my line coach working on zone scheme all day long. We show them all kind of different fronts, and because how many times have you seen a guy run inside zone, make a mistake, he gets it corrected, he's getting corrected, but you don't know if he understands it because the next play on the script is power outside or something. Okay. So it becomes really hard to do that. So I think that's why you have to have dedicated practices for that. So when we run inside zone, it's an inside zone day. That's where everything is inside zone. Our RPO is inside zone, all of that stuff. When it's counter day, now, and we RPO way more off of counter than we do zone. But when it's counter day, that's what we're running. We're running counter and dart, bang, bang. Because we use dart kind of as a change up for counter. But I think it's really, really important, guys, that you do this so that you can get the reps that you need in practice. Okay? I tell people this all the time. The air raid is not about plays. It's about execution. It's about philosophy. It's about reps. Design your practice effectively. Design your practice scripts effectively so that you get the opportunity to do the things that you need to do. And so, like I said, if we're in inside zone, and we're in pistol, we turn our butt to the call. Okay? So if we're running Atlanta, our butt goes left. So we just step off the line and let him come down the hill. Does that make sense? So if we're in Hero Halo like this, let's say we're in Hero, okay, and we're going to run Charlotte, which is zone right, and he would pick up the edge player, then our butt would go to the right. So we would take that snap, our butt would go to the right, our butt would go this way, our feet would be facing that way, and he would just be coming straight downhill like that. All right, and that's just kind of how we do it. I know a lot of guys play around, but I ask that question to a lot of people when I go to clinics or I talk to coaches. You know, hey, what do you do with zone? For us, butt to the call has always just been the easiest thing, so we didn't forget it. How many of you guys are running inside zone? Is that pretty much, you know, is that pretty much a thing? Yeah. You know, start a war and be like, you know, it's not really inside zone, it's duo. No, we don't signal RPOs. RPOs are built in.
We call it inside zone, but we kind of block it like duo because we have a lot of undersized linemen, so we try to establish the double teams and then run them to the side.
All right, so let me ask you a question then. If I said you don't run inside zone, you run duo, would you even care?
No.
I don't understand why guys get pissed off about that. I'm like, dude, we're just double teaming. Call it what you want to call it, man. But them cats, I mean, it's almost as bad as air rated mesh. I mean, air rated wing T, man. Get them guys going. But I'm like you. You know, when I was in college, I learned two different ways to double team step on zone. You know, one guy taught me to step with my play side foot. So if we were going to the right, I would step with my right foot and then punch with my left. And then when I went to Appalachian and played for Stacy, who's at Carolina now, we always stepped with our inside foot first. Bang, to set it. And then our second step helped us gain width when to the linebacker and helped us stay square. So we're both ways right? Yes. You know, it just depends on what you coach and how you do it. But I do not believe in calling RPOs, Coach. I do not.
Coach,
Yes.
Coach, could you draw it up against the forefront?
What, zone? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I do not believe in calling RPOs, and here's why. I think if you're calling RPOs, that's like calling dive, keep, or pitch in the triple option. And if you're doing that, you're not really an option team, are you? You're a guesser. And I don't want to guess. I don't want my quarterback to be like, we'll do that, or we'll base it. We can do that. And if we're basing it, that means, you know, usually we'll base it if we don't have this guy. Okay, we'll give a lock call. You know, it's just kind of getting a little difficult. But I believe if you call RPOs, then you're you know, if it's not built into the run, let me say that. Because I want my guys to be trained to think the same thing every time, if that makes sense. Okay? So I don't want him to be handing inside zone, but it's not an RPO, get bad habits with his eyes, right? So if it's not an RPO, he's just going to be like, you know, then you're not going to get the fake and everything else. But if every play could be an RPO, now, you know, he's disciplined with his eyes and he's focused on that read so that when I really need him to make that read, then he's doing that. So I'm really big on repetition. Not saying anybody who does it the other way is wrong. It's just not what I believe. But I do that because I'm trying to get to that magic rep of when we can do that. Let's see what you know, and like I said, we like to attack the one technique, and I know I drew that up to the right, but I like to run zone to the one technique. Now, how many of you guys are running it to the 1 or 3? Do you really care?
I prefer to run it to the 3 because of the rules that I teach the linemen for the double team.
You talking about the right in here?
Yeah, so we'll get a lot of like that. We'd call that a shade. That nose is kind of shaded.
Yeah, sure.
So a lot of even fronts that we see are like a true 1 or 3 technique lined up on the guards.
Mhm.
And because we see a lot of 4-2-5s or 4-4s, and I'll run it to the 3 because we teach our linemen, if it's an even front, the center and the backside guard are double teaming, or the front side guard, excuse me. So they'll be double teaming to the 3 technique, and then the backside will double the 1, and then we'll read the backside end.
Mhm.
For a read
Well, you
option.
know, I worked with a guy at Lane. They always did it like this. They actually worked all 3 of those guys on that side. But you got to have a hell of a center to do that.
Our
The
center-
reason why I run it to the 1 so much.
235.
Say what?
Our center's 6'4", 235, and he's a sophomore.
No, that's nice. Hey, my roommate in college was 6'4", about 240. He couldn't bench 225 8 times, and he was all Southern Conference. That kid was a technician, man. He just was really, really good at it. The reason why I run it to the 1 more than I do the 3 is because I get a lot of this. People love, because when you go trips, people love to put the 3 technique away from your back. And so if you're used to running zone to the 3 technique here, it kind of puts you in a bad spot because now you don't get a 3 technique. And so that's why we got used to trying to run it to the 1. And right here you get 2 double teams, so it's not terrible. You know, that's one of the reasons why I started running it to the 1 more than I did the 3. Now, one thing I will tell you is that we have a call in our offense like this. And we'll send it out there to him. You know, it'll be counter check. And so, you know, basically he's going to go out there, he's going to find whatever we're running to in the game plan that week, whether it's a 3 or the 1, and he checks it to that side. Now we can't. Now obviously, well, coach, what if they stem? Well, good luck. you know, we're not gonna sit there and play that game with him. But he'll come up there, and if we wanted to run it 2 to 3 technique, and the 3 was to the left, you know, now he's gonna call, you know, the play to the left. You know, he's gonna go apple, apple to the left or orange to the right, and or Oklahoma, Oregon, or whatever it is we're calling it. And counter is apple, orange. So he'll be like apple, you know, apple, Nike, and we're gonna run counter that way. So that kind of gives you an opportunity to get yourself in a good situation in the running game if you put that check concept in there. Now, as far as quarterback runs called, do not change the names for quarterbacks. I used to do it the old school way. We used to call Dart, Dallas, and Denver. And then if we wanted to run the quarterback, he would say Elway or Aikman. But the only problem was it just confused the lineman. So all we do is we signal in the play, and I point at him. So counter you. And so all he would tell them, he just tells the running back, me. Running back flash fakes across. He comes downhill, runs the same path that the running back would run, and we do it like that. So, you know, we can run quarterback counter, we can run quarterback dart, and we just do that by signaling in the play and pointing to the quarterback. Not really, Blake. And I can tell you I won't do that this year for sure. I even, you know, I know in a couple of the clinics I talked about with the quick game stuff, you know, building in quicks and different things like that. Right now, all I'm going to allow my quarterbacks to do is to check slot fade or check out a joker and get in the slot fade. Everything else, I know what I want in a quick game, and you know, and the menu is so short that I don't really ask for that. So everybody good on zone? Probably my favorite play and the play that we got the most money off of was dart. And for us, dart has been, you know, it's been money. And we have a very simple rule for dart is we're going to double team all 1s and base all 3s. Okay. So in this case, if we're running dart to the left, we're going to double team here, base here. Okay. the dart's coming to him, so he blocks out, he wraps. Okay. Then in this case, it's going to be tailback dart because the tailback is the one behind the puller, and so he's going to give it to him. We tell him to slow down and then hit it. Don't be in a hurry. When you first put dart in, your running back's always early. If he's getting there too early, widen him up a little bit. Okay, widen him up a little bit. Now we do use the 3 foot 2.5 foot splits in the middle and about 3 foot splits at the top at the tackle. Okay, we're trying to do that, especially. And I would say I'm not as much of a Nazi on the wide splits as some guys are. But I do say this: the shorter your quarterback, the wider your splits need to be. Okay, the shorter your quarterback, the wider your splits. If we were going to run a quarterback dart here, we would put him on that side, or we could even jet him out and do some stuff like that. Okay, but double team all ones, base all threes. It's a nice little rule that covers everything. And I won 22 games in 2 years running nothing but inside zone and dart. So, it's a great play. You can run it to the quarterback, run it to the tailback. One thing I will tell you, when you're running quarterback counter or tailback counter, okay, or quarterback dart or tailback dart, your quarterback's first move or first tendency is going to be to do this right here. So say you're running the tray this way. He's going to want to do that. Okay, he's going to want to run wide. So you got to tell him downhill, then out. Okay, because what ends up happening is he ends up running into the kick. If you can train him to go here and here, you got big business on that play. Okay, you got big business on that play. Now, what are our rules on that? Really, really simple. Tackles rules: B gap down linebacker, A gap down linebacker, A gap, pull, kick B, pull, wrap. Done. If we're in Hero Halo, we can give a sit call, and that tells it like say we have a 4-eye that's giving us some trouble right there. We can give a sit call where we'll have him block and then him be the wrap. Okay. But once again, just remember, we're not trying to get all cute in this running game. We want our running game to be simple, efficient, and deadly when we get a 5-man box, okay? Because that's what we're looking for. And we'll talk about box DEA tomorrow and, having that idea of what we want to do and why we do that. But we want to have, a simple, efficient running game. That's why we don't have 37 different run plays. Okay, I had toyed in with putting in pin and pull, but then I thought about myself, am I going to call fast screen or outside zone? I mean, y'all know me. Hand up if you think I'm calling outside zone before I call fast screen. You see what I'm saying? So why am I spending all this time working on pin and pull and all this other stuff? It always goes back to that cost-benefit analysis of, do you have time to do that? So you can make this stuff super, super complicated. All right, but like I said, inside zone, Atlanta, Charlotte, our draw game, and we do run a little bit more draw out of our 20 personnel stuff. Okay, draw just has one word, and it's banana. Okay, banana, banana, banana. It's not really draw right, draw left, because it's right down the hill. And basically what we do is we block pass pro. He's going to turn out. These two guys work here. He's coming here, and then he's coming inside. Banana. Okay. We can also have him go here, and that's probably what we would do, and double team right there. So you just pick up the same guys you would in pass pro. Quarterback catches the ball, takes one step, drops it off. Okay. Really simple. Do that. Another thing that we do in this is we run a lead draw. If you get trips like that, if that guy's bailing, we have him lead on him, and we read stick draw. Okay, that's like a year 2 thing. So I we probably won't run that this year with our guys because, like I said, we're fresh into the season, and I'm kind of scared because we might not run mesh this year.
George, your draw is pretty similar to an ISO then, no?
It's the same thing. It's the way Coach Mummy taught me how to do it. I mean, it is ISO. It's just like I said, why create another blocking scheme you have to learn?
Right. That's we run it. We just call it ISO, but it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, and the only reason I call it draw is because I want the quarterback to understand that it's a play action. We're play action in the past. For me, ISO, I'm putting my fullbacks getting in there because look, I come from a pro I background. All through high school we ran power and duo and toss sweep and so
And so did we, and that's what this year was the first year of me running the air raid, and we had done all that stuff leading up to it. So I just kept it as ISO because they knew what the hell it was.
And like I said, tomato, potato, don't be afraid. And those of you guys who have seen the total air raid system, that last chapter I talk about, man, don't be afraid to make this stuff your own, but you just got to be careful that you're not making it too complicated because once you get complicated, it is what it is. So like with our counter and our inside zone and our dart, most of those plays are going to be signaled in with a check. So we teach that quarterback. We want to run that 2-to-1 technique. So if I want to run counter to the 3, I'm just going to give him counter, check. If I want to run zone to the 3 or zone to the 1, boom, check. And I'm not going to guess. And you teach him. And guys, don't make this mistake because I'm going to have to do this. Walk up there, line up the barrels, and teach these cats what shades are, 1s are, 2s are, 3s are. Because, I don't know about y'all, but when I get them, most of them don't know. And it ain't because they haven't been told. It's just they don't learn it. They're more worried about what cover 2 is and all this other stuff. And, they have to be able to identify to be able to get you in a good spot in the running game. So it really, really helps on that deal. But like I said, we've used numbers in the past, 24, 25, and just use your 2 numbers, have them check it, and keep it moving. Do a lot of stuff like this as well. This is one of my favorites. 2 things to do just to kind of mess with the defense, and you get some bang for your buck. Orbit motion, jet motion, or move motion, and jet motion. All 3 of those things don't cost you a dime. But guess what else they don't do? They don't change anything for the linemen or the running backs or anything else. But now that safety sees that guy, and now you're running inside zone. That safety sees that guy, now you're running counter. And so you're able to see right now if that keeps him a step slow or if he over pursues, now I can run that motion and that guy's going to hesitate just long enough for me to get out there into the flats and do some different things. So use your motions to benefit. And look, one thing I had to learn as a young coach, and there's a lot of vets in the room, so I know I'm probably just kind of preaching to the choir, but don't run motion if they don't move. Motion is designed to make the defense change. If you're running motion and they're not changing, or like a guy's just stepping like a half a step out, you're just running the legs off one of your receivers. Questions?
No, just we made a killing last year. Our tailback rush for 966, first year starter, and it was running counter away from the motion. We'd jet motion across. We called it hustle and zip. So we'd motion across and then we'd run counter back. And he probably ran 600 out of his 900 yards on that play alone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There was a question that said, do we use reference aiming points or do you call holes? Now, we always give them landmarks. So, like inside zone, the landmark is the butt of the center. Counter, we try to go outside leg of the guard as where we want the back to go. But generally speaking, on counter, we're going to widen them out a little bit just to kind of slow them down. But no, we don't. I mean, the holes just kind of generally go where they. I heard Alex Gibbs talk one time. I don't know if you guys have heard Alex Gibbs talk. There's some old clinics on the internet somewhere. Better get them before somebody does outside zone certification. You won't be able to watch them anymore. But that was bad. Can't believe you did that. But anyway,
I'm glad
Alex,
you did.
So what?
But I'm glad you said it. I appreciate that.
I have my own opinion on all that stuff, man. But it is what it is. If I wasn't buying goalposts, this would have been like $50. I don't mind. I don't try to take advantage of people like that. But that's a whole other conversation.
How much are goalposts?
About $3,000. About $3,000, but I'm trying to play smart, Todd, because if I raise too much money, they're gonna expect me to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You know how that is, man. If you start rolling in with stuff like that, but so I'm just.
They're gonna want you to coach every sport at the school.
And it's me being an athletic director, man. I've done it before, so I've already bought. I bought a field shed. They had no shed for. They were keeping all the pads in the tractor shed. And so the kids were having to carry it like 200 yards to the practice field. So I bought a field shed to put up on the practice field, and then I'm gonna donate $1,000 for these goalposts, and I'm gonna keep it moving. I don't mind spending money on kids, man. I'm gonna have to pay for it in taxes anyway, so I'd rather give it to the kids. But kind of getting back to what I was saying about the outside zone thing is Alex Gibbs always said you should never tell a good back where to run. So you should just give them, kind of give them a thing. And so that's where I've always been slow to, fast through, especially when you're running out of the gun. Now, when I'm running quick, inside trap and things like that, we have little nuances and things like that. But mostly it's just an aiming point to kind of get them to go. And then you're trying to see if your back has any vision to do that. As far as jet's concerned, we pitch it. We've been pitching it since 2011, 2010, 2011. We just do the old dead toss. Just because I don't have time to work on the exchange. It's just tough. And so let's see. Do you ever just call? We don't really read in our RPO game. I don't ask him to read first level guys anymore. Most of those guys are pretty good anyway now, so we don't really read first level guys. We're turning out right there a lot more than we're not. So we're gonna look at that guy more often than not on the RPO, and it's just because I don't want to get into an if-then scenario with the quarterback. Does that make sense? Well, if they line up like this, you do that. I try to give them one solid set of rules that they can stick with. To do that. All right, let's run it. We got a little bit more time today. We're about done, but you got anybody in a hurry, or can I go over the Indy series with you guys real quick? Are we good? It's 2:30. I know we said we'd do it for an hour and a half. Well, actually, we said 3:30. Good. I'm good to go. I can't even tell time anymore. What day of the week is it? Anybody know? I think they need to do that whole thing where they tell you what day of the week it is. But let's go over the Indy list real quick. So we have what we call a tornado series. And what that is we always line up in open. It never changes. And that is our super light speed offense. And so basically we just go tornado, and then we yell a play. Okay? And the way we do it is we make them remember this list. So if you're looking at that sheet, number 1 is Larry, which is fast screen left. Number 2 is Roger, which is fast screen right. Number 3 is the freeze play. Okay? And it's really important that you put a freeze play in your tempo package, okay? Because you don't want it to be any different. All right, 4 is counter to the right. 5 is quarterback counter left. So we're going to run tailback counter to the right, and then quarterback counter to the left. 6 is our 6 call, so we can go deep. 7 is wide stick. 8 is corner, and then 9 is play action 95. Okay, now, how does that work? Every kid on the team knows that list. I mean, I'll walk down the hallway and be like, hey, tornado 3. And if they don't say freeze, like right then, they got 10 push-ups. Hey, look, man, you either gonna get stronger or smarter. Either way, I win. Okay. But what happens is that becomes the last number of the call. So you can go, let's say we're using 3 again. You can go tornado 23, tornado 43, tornado 73. Whatever the last number is whatever it is. Okay. And so what they do is they're running up to the ball as fast as they can get there. Tornado series is great to use after you bust a long play. Okay. Big pass, big run, yelling it right now. Boom, 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 boom. My favorite thing to do, believe it or not, is to throw a screen into the boundary. It's a tendency. I know it. But if I get a big play, screen to the boundary is coming. I mean, if we're on the left hash, I'm yelling, tornado 1, tornado 1, tornado 1, tornado 21. And we're getting up there, and everybody he says, set, go. There's no Atlanta Nike, there's nothing. They know tornado 21, tornado 31, tornado 41 is screen left. Okay? It's a great way to play super fast. And pretty much, and you think about it, that's pretty much your whole offense. You got a counter run, you got a gap run, you got a freeze play, you got 2 quick game, you got a deep shot, and you got a play action. Right? Now, one thing I would suggest, do not change that during the season. Okay? Do not change that during the season. Sit down before the season, decide what you want your tornado list or your Indy list to be. Tony Franklin calls it NASCAR. Whatever you want that to be. So just know that whatever that list of plays is, let that be the list of plays. Okay? If you change it later on, what ends up happening is that guys can get confused. Well, Indy 6 used to be this, but now it's that. No. Okay? But I'm telling you, it is a very effective way. And also when it's a good time to use it is when you're fixing to get the brake speed off your ass. When you're fixing to play somebody and they're just a lot better than you, play faster. The faster you can play, the better chance you have. See if somebody has a question. Marcus, that's a great question. No, I probably would take something out. I probably wouldn't run dart if I was going to run power read, or I wouldn't run counter. I limit myself to really 3 running schemes. Draw is a freebie. Jet is a freebie. So, we're going to run inside zone, dart, and counter this year because I really don't want to run my quarterbacks as much as I have in the past. But if my quarterback's a getter, then I probably take dart out, and then I run power read. But no, if the biggest rule in the air raid is if you put something in, you got to take something out. Okay? You got to take something out. So Indy list is something that's really important. And like I said, you just decide whatever your 9 plays are, or even if you wanted to do 5 plays, it doesn't matter. We use 9. Okay, we use 9. And it just really is a really effective way to do that. And I've changed mine over the years. There are some plays that are the same from the first time I learned it. Others are a little bit different. So,
will you ever get under center?
Run quarterback sneak. Other than that, no.
Yeah, because we have our Indy series we called Black series where, we were predominantly like a spread team, but then when we called Black, we'd go I formation, under center, attached tight end, and the quarterback would call where the weakness is in the defense. So Black 10 would be a dive to the fullback to the 1 hole. Black 11 would be an ISO, and we could call pass plays out of that too if we want to.
The only issue I have with that is how do you practice? Because while you're doing that, I'm still practicing my offense. Now you're doing 2 different things and not doing 1. Nothing wrong with that, but the air raid philosophy says you have 15 plays and you practice and practice and practice and practice those plays. That, when you start adding packages, and I've done it, but when you start adding, that's more practice time. So
yeah, that was one of the conditions, when our head coach adopted this system for this season. He's like, I'm not getting rid of Black. So, as an assistant, there's only.
Hey, I get it, man. Hey, look, I trust me. I spent the last 4 years as an assistant. I hated it. I've been I was a head coach when I was 26. I'm used to being in charge. And it's tough. But what you got to look at is, is if you're truly going to be an air raid guy, okay? And there's nothing wrong with not being a true air raid guy. I mean, and I think this is where people, people's egos get in the way. Dude, it's okay to like some air raid stuff, but everybody runs shallow, everybody runs mesh. But if you're going to call yourself an air raid guy, you have to understand that it's really about the philosophy and the practice and the structure and things like that. And today's kids you can't practice them jokers for 3 hours. They just don't do it. We were playing, you out there 3.5 hours a day, coach, yelling and screaming off. Man, these kids will walk off the field and go play Fortnite. And now our state just passed a rule where we can't hit live for more than 15 minutes a week now or something like that. Which, I mean, we don't hit a lot live anyway, but I don't know how you practice all of it. And it's a great idea. I like the sound of it, but just the taking reps from the center and handing it to the tailback is 15 minutes of practice, at least a week, if you don't want those handoffs to be messed up. And that doesn't count the pirouette handoffs and things you got to do from underneath the center when you're running like counter and things like that. So that would be my only question when we do it. So yeah, do we get up under center? Yeah, when we run quarterback sneaks and things like that. Any more questions on that little piece there? Everybody cool? So like I said, hey, the stuff I'm going to send you tomorrow actually is going to have all of the play diagrams, like the quick game, the passing game and stuff, and you'll be able to have all of that. I'll give you the just play versions of those things. And then, like I said, you'll have both of the courses. But I wanted to give you this because this is kind of the stuff that I don't give people for obvious reasons. This is the stuff that you won't hear me talking about on the YouTube channel very much. I'll talk maybe about how we signal a play in or something like that, but I won't tell you, that zone left, right, that zone left, and those kind of things, and then the code words that we use and things like that. All three of my quarterbacks right now are watching the Foundations course. I actually gave them all 3 free coupons, so they're sitting at their house watching that course. So I mean, they're learning that, but then they're going to get this piece of it too, where we talk about that. Blake, that's what Joe does. The install stuff it depends, and a lot of it depends on this. Okay, his question was, do we install everything out of ACE and then come back and install everything out of Trips? I try to put everything in together because I teach the concept of it, okay? You guys have seen me talk about shallow with the bubbles and things like that, so the formation shouldn't matter. So you teach everything in the area is basically triangle anyway. But what Joe does in the spring is he goes all through the entire offense in 2x2, and then he comes back the next week and does everything in 3x1. My question is going to be this year, when do we actually get back with our kids? They're talking just all kind of crazy stuff right now. So, I mean, they just opened up, like, you can go to Target and go to a restaurant, but you can't get a haircut. So it's weird. I don't, whatever, man. I'm just trying. I don't make those decisions. But other than that, the 3-day install kind of is what it is. We're gonna put in, we'll put in zone day 1. And I know, like, the course will say something a little bit different, but this is kind of how it's going to be this year, if we're going to Fairmont. Zone and draw will be day 1. Counter dart will be day 2. Jet, outside zone will kind of be day 3. And then we'll go fast. Actually, I'm sorry. Fast, pedal, slow. Slow and surge going like that. And then we just kind of go from there. So it's nothing. I'll give you guys an install sheet as well. I'm finishing that part of it up tonight. So that's kind of run game 101, pass pro 101, tags, movements, formations, intro. So let's talk about some screens. Most of you guys have heard me talk about screens a bazillion times. That's what everybody usually asks me to talk about. So I'm gonna give you the $5 version of it. the key on the screen is obviously the flat for 5. You've heard me say that a bazillion times. Okay, but really what makes it good is if the X receiver or the Z receiver, if they're able to determine by where the corner is aligned, what they need to do. So like, if this guy is 7 yards back, we'll tell him just take a step and stop. If he's pressed up, we want to outside release him and flip his hips and then retrace. And then the key to all of that, like I've said this a bazillion times, is leaning into the catch. As I'm retracing down, I want to lean into the catch. I tell the quarterback to catch the ball, throw it at the helmet of the guy going flat for 5, and we catch it and we lean and we get back outside. Now, what you have to decide is, are you going to pull lineman or not? Okay? Are you going to pull lineman or not? And so for us, we want to pull lineman because they like it. And, you know, I'm a fat guy and I like pulling too. So, you know, we're going to go flat for 5, retrace, flat for 5, hold, flat for 5, up the hill. Flash fake, boom, throw it. Okay? That's our rocket screen. So we call fast screen laser and rocket. So that's our keyword. So, you know, it can be like Atlanta rocket, go. Okay, so Atlanta rocket being fast screen to the right, laser being fast screen to the left. Those are our keywords. Okay, now same thing, but going back to the other side. These guys base. All right, they base. Be careful allowing your guys to cut unless you're in Texas, because you know Texas plays on college rules. But a lot of these guys you'll get in trouble if you cut out of the gun. So you know, just have them zone onside the backside or pass block them.
So George, lineman, receiver, regardless of your position, if you're blocking to the side, you're throwing the screen, you're going flat for 5 first.
Yes.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. You know, the guard is the only guy who kind of has a little, because we tell him to check for weapons first, but he's kind of 1,000, 1,002. The reason why we want that is we don't want to muddle this. Okay, if he doesn't go flat for 5 and he gets up in here, you know, and if he's up in here, then this guy's coming downhill and banging people, and it just gets ugly. So
yeah, because I didn't do that with the linemen last year, and they were getting upfield, and it was kind of gross to watch. But
yeah,
this is definitely what I'm going to do this
year.
I like it a lot.
It's been tried and true, man. You know, I try to find little teaching terms because I don't want them to think, okay, I got the corner. Okay, well, okay, you got the corner, but then they roll him back and he comes up, you know, pre-snap. Now what?
Yeah, you got that guy chasing him 15 yards downfield.
Yeah, so, but if he knows I'm going flat for 5 and I'm going to hit the first person that doesn't look like me, he's not going to be confused. He's going to play fast, and his angles are going to be better off. And I think I did a video on the channel not too long ago.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the fast screen clinic that I did on Twitter not too long ago, I showed some pretty good clips on that. So,
Hey, Coach, we teach our linemen to go alley, sidewalk, street.
yeah, we've had. I was just, you know, when I was in college, it was the same way. You know, we had, you know, number 1, number 2, number 3 from the sideline. We had you got the side, you got the alley, you got the backup cleanup. I mean, all kind of key words on that.
That's what I did this year also. But I like the flat for 5 regardless who the hell you are.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, that's making it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. I think sometimes we overcoach our kids, if that makes sense. We try to give them way too much information when really all we want them to do is get out there and get in the way.
Yeah, those big guys aren't going to actually block too much.
And if they do, you're going to hear about it for 2 weeks. If they do, they get a big one. You know, we used to do stupid stuff like you laid one down, you know, we'll give you an ice cream sandwich on Monday or something. You know, we keep ice cream in the refrigerator at the field house. You know, just all kind of little anything you can do to make those guys happy, man. But they just like being able to get out there and run and look athletic, even if they aren't. And it's just really
the fat guy's dream. You dangle some ice cream in front of them.
Hey man, hey, if we have a defensive shutouts, we have ice cream parties on Monday. I'm gonna get 2 big old jugs of ice. Man, it don't take much to make kids happy, bro. You bring some ice cream to the field house, them kids are ready to roll. They don't care about that. Ice cream, pizza, you know, it ain't gotta be something fancy. Hot dogs, they don't care. You know, bag of chips, here you go, bro. You know, Gatorade. I know a guy that the guy who works the hardest in the weight room every day gets a free Gatorade. He throws it. Here you go, bro. You're the Gatorade guy. I mean, you just be surprised, man. When that kid finally gets it, he's like, yeah, man. You know, it's all about psychology. But I like the idea of it's a screen. I hear rocket. I'm going flat for 5. I'm gonna hit the first thing, and you'll hear him counting too. What's the funniest thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, and you know, if it's a guy like me, kind of a stubby fat dude with short legs, you know, they probably went 6 feet. You know, because they're. But flat for 5 started off for the Y, and we just put it in there for everybody else because it just makes a lot of sense. As far as the bubbles are concerned, as of right now, I'm still going to pedal. As of right now, I'm still going to pedal. You know, we're gonna open up inside foot back. We're gonna open up and back out and pedal. Now, how do we signal the screen is important, okay? Because what we actually do is we just use the hand number. So if I'm going to the right, I'll just put my hand out and put number 1. Okay, what that tells the quarterback is I'm throwing a screen to the right to number 1. Okay, if I'm in early and I want to throw fast screen to number 2, so I want to go rocket to H, then I'm just give him 2 fingers out to the right. Okay, so it'll be early rocket. That's H rocket. I don't have to give him H because I'm throwing it to number 2. Technically, if there's trips and the trips is off the line and I give them a 3, they'll run bubble, but we don't really do that too much. We're just going to run fast screen to 1 and 2, and then we'll run bubble on the backside. So if I'm in open or ace right here, and I want to run that, all I do is I use my left hand and just give him a 2. Okay, so he knows right now I'm going to bubble. Okay, and so then the call from the quarterback is nothing but a run play. Okay, because all we're wanting to do is run. So we're gonna, you know, we've called this, you know, it's not really an RPO. It's gonna look like an RPO, but he may go orange, counter right. That's what these guys, and these guys will run counter right. He's just gonna take it from throw the bubble screen. Okay, or he might call, you know, sharp inside zone. But the quarterback doesn't give the line anything but a run play on the bubble. Okay, so there's no, you have to call laser or rocket so they know to pull. But as far as apple, orange, you know, any of that other stuff, we only do that with, the bubble screen. Okay, so like I said, you just use the hand, boom, boom. Now, if I want to throw slow screen, it's pretty easy. We just use, we use the John Cena. So, you know, that's screen right, that's Rita, and that's screen left. And right now, when we run slow screen, we partner our slow screen with shallow cross. Now, don't get confused. We're not throwing shallow cross. Now, you can do that if you're really, really good, but we're not really, really good like that. I just think that's way too much. So if I'm going to run slow screen to the right, okay, so that's Florida. We go Florida because it's on the East Coast, California, because so it's Cali or Florida. Cali, Nike. Ready, clap, ready, go, boom. All right, so all we're going to do is if they hear Florida, that's what we're doing. And what we tell these guys is the same thing. They're going to play. He's going to block man on. He's going to block man on. 1,001, 1,002, go. Flat for 5, get out there. Flat for 5, get out there. Flat for 5, get out And we don't, and here's the other reason why we don't go alley, sidewalk, kick, and all that stuff. What if the center gets out first? But he thinks he's an alley guy. He's going to run right past the kick, right? So we just say, hey, if you're out first, you hit the first thing that doesn't look like you. So we run shallow, and the code word for our slow screen is Cali or Florida. Okay, so like I said, all we do is we give them the Cena for right hand, 2 hands, Cena for left. Same kind of concept. And then the last screen that we run is our surge screen. You guys have heard me talk about this forever. This is a good one. You guys, how many of you guys watch the QB School YouTube channel? Any of you guys check out JT O'Sullivan? Yeah, I had JT on the channel, and so we kind of talk from time to time. He's actually a really cool dude. We get along pretty well because he finished his PhD, and I'm finishing my PhD, so it's like we talk about that too outside of football. But I did a video on surge screen 4 ways on the YouTube channel, and I got a DM from him on Twitter and said, "Yo, I'm putting that in my offense." And so he actually added this to his offense, which was pretty cool. And it's pretty easy. It's just he's gonna pull, right, and then everybody else is running tunnel screen. I'm sorry. Let me flat for 5, pull. He bases, boom. And all he's reading is this front side in. Okay, if the front side in or whoever the contained player is, whether it's an outside linebacker, if that person widens with the tailback, he's going to retreat 3 steps and throw it into the tunnel right in here. So what you're telling X is a little different from fast screen. He's still going to retrace for 3, but then when he comes down, he's going to come downhill and come more flat, if that makes sense. Instead of trying to lean into it, we want him to come more flat because it's going to go up in here. And it's an absolute deadly play. We call it Vegas or Orlando, and it's money up, make it rain up, or money down, or make it rain down. So up was right and down is left. That's kind of what we do on that. But that's our surge screen package. And so you got 4 screens that you run. And like I said, you're getting double duty because you can run them to different people. Here's one thing I will tell you. I never run surge screen to the left. I don't know why, I just don't. It's too much practice. I ran it to the left one time and it's horrible. So we kind of run that to the right with a right-handed quarterback because I want him to be able to go here, retrace, and go there, okay? I think it's harder for him to go here, retrace, turn his hips, and come back. So if you have a left-handed quarterback, I'd probably run it to the left a little bit more. I'm just trying to get him out the quickest way possible, Coach. He's asking me if we were arc releasing the tackle. I don't want him to go inside unless he just has to, but we tell him to take his quickest release. Quickest release, flat for 5. And once again, is that maybe the best way to do it? I don't know. But what we try to do is we try to have everything be consistent, as consistent as possible, because I'm trying to maximize reps. Okay, I'm trying to maximize reps. Because remember, this is kind of what this is our deal. But we really want to be throwing 4 verts and shallow and quick game and stuff. So we don't want to have to invest a ton of time into screen game, run game, and all this other stuff when we want to spin it to win. We'll run it all. First round of playoffs, I ran about 25. My tailback had 25 carries, 195 yards rushing. I ain't got no problem handing it to that cat. Okay, that's just not what I want to do. Everybody good on screens? All right, questions. Just because once we get into the passing stuff, it can go for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So if there's is there anything else about this kind of stuff that you want to know about how we call plays, how we signal plays? Any questions about any of that stuff before we get into it? Because what I'd like to do is spend the most of tomorrow just really diving into all the passing plays, teaching you all the little things that I've learned over the years and anything that you have as far as, questions you would have into that, because I know most of you guys are going to want to talk more about that than
How quick are you actually getting plays in, George? Like, do you have a set time on the play clock? Do you want to play off every time?
anything. We've been that way. I mean, we've been like, 12 seconds. We kind of like, 25-second clock. We wanted the ball snapped the time we got to, 14, 13. We've done it that fast. You can do it faster than that if you go indie list. I just want to, in 2010, playing fast was a thing. There were a handful of people doing it. Now everybody's doing it, so tempo is not as effective as it used to be. But we still want to keep a clip, and the
Right.
clip is more. The clip is almost more for me as a play call, because I get into a rhythm of what I want to call and look at. It's just
The reason why I ask is watching some of that Patrick Taylor stuff with the whole slow and fast process. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like when you get into that, it's going to take a little longer to call those plays because you want your quarterback kind of thinking about what coverage or what defense.
I'm telling you, man, and I'm glad you brought this up, because I talked to Pat again yesterday. A lot of us kind of old school air raid guys have been having a lot of conversations the last couple of days with all the stuff that's going on. I've been talking to Pat and Drew and a bunch of those guys, and Pat and I talked about 2 hours Sunday. And one thing I can tell you is it seems like that takes a long time, but it really don't. When you get into that open grass read stuff, and I'm telling you guys, if you haven't seen it, I mean, and you're talking about like $10. I mean, Pat ain't
awesome.
Pat ain't trying to make no money off nothing. He's just an old country boy from Georgia that's up there coaching at a school north of Greensboro, doing a great job. But that stuff is revolutionary. Nobody teaches six calls like him and Drew. And I never, and I mean never with a capital N-E ever, would have allowed my quarterback to do the things that Pat and Drew do without knowing what they know. When he first put out that open grass read stuff, I had gotten in with Coach Mummy when he first did his first system. He used to have a system way back in the day where it was like $700. It was kind of Tony Franklin, like, he did weekly seminars and all this other stuff. And Coach Mummy had asked me if I knew some guys, hey, if anybody wants to learn, just put them on or whatever. And I was like, well, okay. Well, I met Pat, and I was like, Pat, he's like, yeah, I've been running the area for a while. I was like, well, have you ever, talked to Coach Mummy? He was like, no. So, he got in with Coach Mummy, and Pat wrote that book, Open Grass Reads, and he sent me a copy of it. He's like, hey, man, check this out. I'm fixing to publish this, and blah, 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 blah. And I looked at it, and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I mean, especially when you're talking about like the tennis balls in the gym and just doing those kind of things. And Pat literally went to a 7-on-7 and ran 6 calls every play. He ran 6 calls every play for an entire 7-on-7. He said he scored like 6 touchdowns. And it wasn't like just going deep over people. And he said it looked like a different play every time. So I'm telling you, look, I know 4 verts. I'll teach you 4 verts tomorrow, but I promise you, I don't know it as good as him. And the one thing about me, you guys, if there's a source out there that you can get, I'm going to give it to you. And I'm not going to give you somebody that I don't know or trust, because I just, I don't want y'all to, oh, man, he's a snake oil salesman. He just peddling stuff. No, dude, I'm telling you, that stuff will help you be a better coach. And, that walkthrough drill is, that's the thing. We don't really tell our O-line anything when we go play action coach, to be honest. We don't change our pass blocking or anything, because our play action is really very simple. We just want to mess with the linebacker. We're not riding our play actions. Okay. If you're riding your play actions, then I think you got to get into turn back and all that other stuff like you would do if you were in the eye or things like that. We're flash everything. So basically all he's doing is taking that ball and pulling it. So that's why we don't really change things for the line. I had a question if we told our line something different when we were pass blocking. But yeah, Pat's deal is pretty good.
I actually sent the Open Grass Reads book to our quarterback because I've been teaching virtually, to the quarterback. So just so he had an idea of what I was talking about when I was teaching.
Yeah, I think he has a video attached to it as well.
He does. There's a couple YouTube videos that he has on there with.
Yeah, or even the Coach Tube course he has is like $25, and I think he has the videos and everything in it. And I had to, when I talked to him Sunday, those of you guys that get the mailing list for me, when I talked to him Sunday, I was like, dude, you have to unlock your course so I can send it out to these guys because people need to see this. And there was no way for me to link it into the course, into the emails for people to see it. And so he called me back. He said, I got it fixed. So he actually messaged me last night. He said, dude, like 20 people have picked up my course. I was like,
Coach,
yeah, because it's good.
Coach, what's his name again?
Patrick Taylor. And the course, he has two different courses, Open Grass Reads for verticals, and then he does Open Grass Reads for Y cross. He's legit, man. I mean, like I said, he coached down in Georgia for a while, and he's a head coach up here in North Carolina, a place called North Surrey. He's done all that stuff. Matter of fact, he did a portion of the Air Raid Certified course for Coach Mummy. Him and Coach Mummy did a Y cross video or something. But he's good, man. He's real good. Like I said, and very simple. And for me, I don't like going and talking to guys when they start talking super, super smart. My daddy was an old country boy from Tennessee, and I'm a military brat, so I've been all over the world, and I'm just plain spoken, and I talk, and Pat's the same way. He's like, look, man, this is the simple way to do it.
And that's what I liked about it because he's like, I don't really teach my quarterbacks defenses, just is that grass.
And we'll talk about we'll talk about that because that's how I teach it. I ask my quarterbacks one question: is the grass open or closed?
Yeah.
And here's where everybody gets in trouble. And this goes back to: are you just trying to sound smart, or are you trying to win? It's kind of that inside zone duo thing. I don't concern myself with what the defense is doing because we have answers built into the offense. The plays are designed so well that, if you get a cover 3, you can attack a certain area. If you get a cover 2, you can attack another area. But you have to understand this concept. Does everybody understand the open, closed grass concept? Because we can go over that right now. Anybody not heard of that before?
Would you go over it a little bit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, like, the best way to think about it is, and I always use shallow when I teach it, because I think shallow is when it's the most appropriate. You guys have heard me talk about bubbles with shallow all the time. But basically, shallow has bubbles, and we've talked about these bubbles forever. And somebody asked me the other day, he's like, yo, coach, you got bubbles for all the plays? And I'm like, no, I really hadn't thought about it. I probably could come up with them, though, but I never did. So basically, if we're running H shallow, how does this guy know to throw it to him or to him? And that's the $100 million question when you're dealing with quarterbacks. Okay, a lot of guys can throw and things like that, but how does that kid know to throw it to the shallow versus the dig? Okay, and so let me just ask one of y'all. One of y'all tell me what you teach the quarterback to throw with the shallow. What do you teach him? Anybody?
If the outside linebacker widens with the shallow, I'm going to hit the dig because he just stepped into my grass.
Okay. So if this linebacker right here widens, okay, what if he stands still?
Well, I guess, you could let the H clear him, but to me, that's going to take too long. So right. I'm still going to go right to the dig because he's still in the grass.
Okay. See, and You, coach, just gave me the correct answer. You're still going to throw the dig. But in that kid's mind, you have taught him to look for what?
A player, not an area.
You've taught him to look for that player to widen. And if that player doesn't do what you've taught him to look for, what is your quarterback now going to do? Pat the ball, hesitate, be a split second slower, throw a kid who's going to get hurt because he got thrown and he shouldn't have got thrown. I say this all the time. There's only two guys on the field that you can believe, and that's the guards. High school guards don't lie. Everybody else does. And the reason why you want to get away from reading players if you're going to be an area team or a team that passes the ball a lot, and this is where open grass reads is ingenious, okay, is when you play with pace, are guys always lined up right?
Nope.
Nope. If you're changing formations all the time, are guys lined up right?
Nope.
Nope. If you motion, are guys lined up right? Okay? Everybody understands the answer. So here's the thing. If I'm focusing on this guy, but he was over here and he realizes he's supposed to be over here and he only gets right there when I snap the football, and I'm thinking, okay, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? Bang. Okay? So what you teach your guys is this. When I call shallow right there, I want to know, is that grass open or closed? Right now. So if that guy stands still, coach, you already said it. If he stands still, is the grass open or closed?
Closed.
If it's closed, then what do?
Go to my next.
I go to my next progression. Okay? I go to my next progression. Now, why? But coach, what about everybody else? Here's why. This is why we peak this guy first. Okay, we peak him first so we give H a little bit of chance to get over it. Okay? But we're going to peak that guy, and we'll know what's on our first step if we're going to be able to win or not. Okay? But once we come off of that, if we're running 98s right here, my eyes immediately go to that patch of grass. So, you know, I would say first sound indicator, first call indicator. So we're going to go Ace, Tuesday, Charlotte, go, boom. My eyes go immediately to that grass because I can peek that Z through this window, right? This guy comes across, I don't worry about him. I teach Y to outside release because what I really want is I want this guy's hips to flip and him run, and now I'm going right here. Now, if that guy outside releases and he widens and turns his hips to because what are outside linebackers taught to do, right? Bang verticals.
3 for 10.
Bang verticals. We've made that guy do and he's done exactly what you taught that quarterback to look for. But now, am I worried about if that guy makes a mistake? Nope. Because I'm reading the thing that never changes, and that's grass. You know, because like, what if they do this? Because this happens a lot. My defense, we do this a lot. Okay, what if they take this guy and roll him down? And they're running some kind of stunt. Well, wait a minute. The guy that you told me to look for, coach, is gone. But guess what? He's being replaced right now by a strong safety. You know, or even if he comes here. That safety is going to protect that blitz, right? So now it's like, okay, but coach, you told me to look at that outside linebacker. Now that outside linebacker blitz, so I'm immediately going to try to throw this, and I'm going to get my shallow blowed up. So you have to teach it like a bunch of if thens, if thens, if thens, if thens. And that's kind of like, you guys ever seen that? And Coach Salas said he did it. I've not done it, to be honest. I don't want to because I don't feel like getting embarrassed. There's like this thing on YouTube called Chalk Wars or something like that, where they have the high school coaches and all the coaches, they go back and forth about what they would do and what you would do and all that stuff. Well, you know who always wins that, right? The guy with the pin last. Yeah. So do you want your quarterback to get into an if then scenario? No, you just tell him, I'm going to read this patch of grass. If that guy blitzes and this safety has come down to that patch of grass, guess what? I'm going right over here and I'm going to throw underneath that cover 3 deal. You know? And this guy right here, he's just going to check 1,001, 1,002, bang. You know, he's the third cat, so he's not going to free release. It's not mesh. So you got somebody to pick up your blitz right there. So do you understand, guys, why open grass reads are so important? It's the hallmark of the air raid. It's why we read grass and we don't read anything else. Because grass don't lie. Players do. That kind of answered the question on that. Anybody have anything else on that piece? You know, without getting into shallow, like too deep. All right, so tomorrow we're going to go over quick game, we're going to go over drop back game, and we're going to go over attacking coverage and scoring points. Okay? Tomorrow, before you come in, you will have the play cards and everything. That way you'll have something to reference before. I didn't send it out today because I didn't know, you know, there were still guys getting tickets right before we came up in here. So, you know, I want this to be something that you guys, you know, so if there's something that you want me to talk about tomorrow that I didn't talk about today, or if you're not sure, DM me on Twitter, email me, ask me some questions. Like I said, man, I just want you guys to have everything. I'm just trying to share. This is exactly how I teach my quarterbacks. We go in the room, we start talking about, hey, this is this. And tomorrow it'll be a lot more apparent because we'll talk about progressions and stuff like that. And you'll see kind of how we progression read from grass to grass. And we talk about timing and little different things like that. And you will also, a couple of you guys already have both of the area courses. So if you want the defensive stuff, let me know and I'll give you the defensive stuff. Okay, I think Todd has seen the defensive stuff. I don't know if anybody else in the room has seen it, but if you want the defensive stuff and because you already have the offensive stuff, I'll give it to you. And then if you have them both or you don't want the defensive stuff, if there's something in Coach 2 that you don't have and you haven't seen, just email me and I'll give you whatever, okay? If you already got the foundations and the advanced concepts, because I want you guys to have something for that. Like I said, the only reason I'm really even doing this is to raise money for the school. You know, it's no big deal because you guys know me. I ain't charging $500 for nothing. You know, I charge $275 for 9 hours of coursework. and that was one of the reasons why I broke that course up, you know, so because it started getting too expensive and I just, you know, I didn't have it in my heart to do that. So I'll give you the defensive stuff if you already got the other stuff. No big deal on that. So just shoot me an email and I'll get everybody's coupons out tonight to you. So since you're already in, we'll start around the same time tomorrow. I know we said 2.5 hours, but if we don't get done, we'll go until everybody's satisfied. Okay. So, you know, as far as all that stuff is concerned, don't worry about if we get it in. If you have questions beforehand that you may or may not have in your mind, you know, do that. I learn just as much from doing this as I do giving it, you know, because I get things in the back of my head or people ask me questions and stuff like that. Yeah, Joe, I was just saying that I'm gonna send that stuff out to you tonight. I had a couple guys email me yesterday about it, but I didn't want to send everything else out until we actually started the course because I wanted to make sure guys were registered and all those other things. And it's just a little bit of a headache. But like I said, man, I hope you guys got something out of today. You have the code sheet. This is kind of the deal. Now, the other thing that you'll get if you don't have it already, in the advanced concept course is the practice wizard. Okay, so you'll have the practice wizard that we use, and we use that practice wizard now. That's not just something I made to put up there so everybody would buy it. We use that thing. Okay, everything that I have up on my website on CoachTube is pretty much stuff that we do. Okay, it's not one of these things where we're just trying to roll it. But the practice schedule is in advanced concept course. So if you got that, you'll get that. Like I said, the defensive stuff, the defensive install presentation is in there as well. So you'll have that if you want the defensive stuff. My defensive stuff's pretty fun. I love our defense. It's very, very simple. We just get after it. Because, I realize I kind of take an air raid approach where we're just going to do a certain thing. We're going to do it a certain couple ways. And I talked to my defensive coordinator yesterday. He's like, Coach, man, we need some forearm shields and some body pads. I said, no, we don't, bro. What you mean? I was like, dude, I'm buying you 6 exercise balls and 4 donuts. Huh? Man, trust me. If you ain't using exercise balls on defense for your defensive practice, man, you're missing out. So we'll talk about that sometime. But, anybody else have any questions about anything?
Hey,
All
Coach.
right, Bob. Say what?
How do I get that sheet that you just showed everybody?
I emailed a link to you. Did you not get it? You might have registered right afterwards. If not, I'll send it out again.
Okay, thank you.
That way, because those of you guys who came in late, I'll email it to all of you guys one more time. So you might get 2 emails from me. Because like I said, I want to make sure you have it. Like I said, it's got all the code words, how we signal things, the tags, and all that other stuff. So, but like I said, man, same time tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. And if, like I said, any questions, email me, DM me on Twitter. I'll be around. Ain't going nowhere. North Carolina's still shut down. So
When's your video coming out on the medicine ball defense? I'd like to see
let me
that.
tell you something. I forced myself to do the defensive videos because I had a couple. Anthony was one of them. One of the guys that asked me about the defensive stuff. Nobody watches the defensive stuff. Nobody want to care about an air raid guy talking about defense. But I'll tell you where I got it though, Todd. No, I'll tell you exactly where I got it. They made us go do heads up football training. Any of you guys?
Yeah, I have to do that in New York.
Okay.
Also,
they made all of us go to heads up football, and the guy who was doing our training showed us a bunch of drill tapes of them using those medicine balls. And I was very skeptical at first. But I went back, and my head coach, because I was defensive coordinator at the time, he bought all those medicine balls. He said, Coach, we're going to use these medicine balls. Because the year before, we were getting dudes broke up in practice left and right. And we had not one practice injury on defense that year. And we just incorporated.
We dabbled in plyo balls a little bit, but not medicine balls.
Well, we use the medicine balls. Well, we use plyo balls more than medicine balls, but we use the medicine balls on offense in particular with our offensive linemen. We do that. We use those for punches. But those big exercise plyo balls are the ones we use on defense more than anything. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, I will see you guys tomorrow. I got to go make some homemade macaroni and cheese, man. Check out Paula Dean on YouTube, man. Her homemade macaroni and cheese is legit. So I'm about to go do that right now and get that ready for rolling. I'm playing Chef Daddy. My daughter told me I'm Chef Boyardee because I'm boiling water and making noodles. So yeah, that's what happens with your kid. When your kids start roasting you, you're getting old. So anyway, I appreciate you guys, man. Hit me up, email me, do whatever we need to do, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay.